We all begin to follow in line behind Leo, all of us pretty damn well aware that our element of surprise is long gone. We're about to reach the open door when I notice that Jenna isn't with us. I glance back over my shoulder to see her staring into the underbrush back by my truck, or the truck. Everyone else starts filing in before I get a chance to get anyone's attention, so I wait outside for her. I wave, trying to get her attention. Sure enough, she finally looks my way and quickly scurries her way over to me. It's amazing how silent she can be, even while running. It's one of those enviable fox traits she has.
Don't stereotype.
Just noticeably, I mean, admittedly, there are stereotypes that are more applicable in this setting than normal.
I understand.
I'm
just teasing.
It's like the exact reason why people criticize the idea of using animal people as a racism metaphor, because like in Zootopia and whatnot, like there are massive differences between different species and stuff that suggest that maybe some people should be concerned about their safety in a way that is how racists imagine races work, but they don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It like Zootopia's or like anything like that's just like a parody because like those differences are obvious, but it just highlights how non-obvious our differences are as human beings. I mean, obviously it's like, oh, like all rabbits are small, and it's like no fucking kidding, all rabbits are small. But it's like those differences are apparent, but it doesn't reflect upon like their motives or their personality. But it's just like, yeah, all fucking rabbits are small. But I mean, if anything, it makes a mockery of like how we judge each other based on seeming differences, but that seem apparent, but are obviously not, considering how very similar all human beings are. I don't know.
Yeah, there's strange elements like the like Beastar's on its face is trying to juggle a racism metaphor, but it's also doing several other things, and it's best approached as being this like more neutral combination of metaphors and commentary. Because if you just focus one-on-one and you're like, this is just about racism, it's like there's a scene where somebody rips somebody's arm off on accident. That's a really significant difference between species in that setting, which is distressing. And in a way, was it like Zootopia does both, where like it like has very obviously different power dynamics between different species, but at the same time it also like tries to push back on those ideas, in particular with the how Gideon and Nick are both foxes and are not even slightly similar in behavior. Like they're just massively different characters, but it's like a quiet pushback on that idea that's less noticeable than stuff like, for example, the Panther driver chasing them through the jungle biome and stuff like that. Like that's kind of a louder piece of that's kind of a louder, messier element of the narrative than being like, oh, see, look, like quietly, if you pay attention, Nick and Gideon are both foxes, and like that's not, see, none of this is inherent behavior to foxes, because Gideon's over there with his goofy split hair, and he's fat, and he's serving pies. That's when Judy goes back home and her old bully is nice and stuff.
No, he's a cutie.
And the internet has not stopped fixating on him since.
I don't blame. I mean, you know, he serves pies. Like he seems like a nice guy.
I did not expect Gideon to be the sleeper hit that he is.
Do you remember Chicken Little?
Like the original story or the movie?
No, the Disney movie.
I've never seen the movie.
It's not amazing. but it's funny to me.
It doesn't sound amazing.
It's funny seeing that and then seeing Zootopia, because it's very similar, or it's not very similar, but there are some like commentary, like the bully's a fox, Chicken Little's, you know, obviously a chicken, no kidding.
Yeah.
But it's like they're none of the characters are cute. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Nobody really fixates on any of the Chicken Little characters because they are not.
No.
Even
I would know.
Even dad chicken's not like a hot dad. Like he's not even.
No.
The art style is not nearly as good.
It's not even, and it's not age either, because like people still freak out about the Robin Hood movie.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense to me.
The Robin Hood movie has mileage, and like the fucking
Robin Hood's he's a charming guy.
The fucking hypno snake from Jungle Book just unlocked kinks for people that they have not ever worked out since.
Dude, I've seen inadvertently. I've seen that snake in a lot of porn, not on purpose. Just
Haps
I'm like,
draws
oh.
a lot of that snake specifically.
I mean, the only thing that bugs me is I think he has the same voice as Winnie the Pooh.
Does he have the same voice?
Yeah, he's the same voice actor.
I mean, they also all have the same animations, like the Rescue Rangers bear and the Jungle Book bear and the Robin Hood bear all recycled the same animations, just redrawn slightly.
I think if you were to show me like a bunch of pictures of characters, I can tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 how popular they would be in the furry community, but I don't think anyone is really a 0. It's like there's nobody who has no porn of them on the internet.
That's one of the rules.
Exactly. But there are some that have quite a lot more than others, and I think I'd be able to pick which ones and be correct.
Do people even remember the rules anymore?
I just remember Rule 34 is the only rule that I ever have thought about.
Like I don't know how much like the TikTok generation knows that there was once upon a time a dumb series of rules and so on. Like I think Rule 33 or something was like it was gender bending or something.
There is always gender bending.
Yeah. But
the fact that they got to 34, how many other ones could there be?
Anyway. It's tough to think of any aspect of foxes that's a hindrance, actually. I sure hope your thought stops here, Chase. You don't, like, start thinking of one. What can I hold against foxes as a species?
Their ears are quite big. I don't know if I like that.
What's up? I look at her, trying to keep my voice down. She peers at me with a scrutinizing expression, as if I had said something rather offensive and she's waiting for me to talk my way out of it. Jenna?
Oh, it's nothing. Nothing real.
Yeah, just a bunch of posers. Huh? She walks in, not offering any elaboration.
Come on.
I sigh, following her. Jenna, I can't say I could have ever expected the interior of Heather's home to look like this, even having known her most of my life.
Why are there baby toys in the bottom right corner?
Because you gotta keep babies entertained.
When they come over to visit, you know?
I just think there are kids at some point involved.
Is there also a dartboard on the... Is there a dartboard next to where the babies play?
Well, it's a garage, it looks like.
I guess so.
I think it's a garage. I mean, it's got shop lights.
I don't know.
It's got no... It doesn't have a ceiling. Or it doesn't have a... It's, it's got exposed beams. That's what I mean. This looks like someone's garage. The first thing that hits me is the smell. It reminds me of one of those fancy candle and soap stores in the mall, but with a sort of dusty, mildewy stink that lingers in my sinuses. Very floral overall. Potpourri, I think it's called. The next thing I notice is the decor. Much like the exterior, there definitely appears to be some kind of fantasy, castle-like theming going on here. However, the person going for said theme is certainly no interior designer. Bubbly wallpaper, cheap knickknacks, and blurry, printed JPEG pictures of fairy tale creatures coat the walls. Oh. That's goofy.
That's
I want to put art everywhere, but it's also like garbage, like it's someone's printer prints. It's like
kind of sad.
I was gonna kick out of this when you walk to like someone's like some restaurant and you get to like the hallway to the bathroom and there's like framed pictures and they're just like shitty shit they found on the internet just printed on their printer and they just framed that. It looks horrible and it's usually somehow stretched wrong. You
go to a Subway and they just have like framed pictures of vegetables on the wall and they're like bad resolution.
Those are usually corporate vegetables.
Yeah.
They come in a stack.
It's like the same picture of a tomato 3 times.
Pink pennant banners dangle from the ceiling, and crushed glitter can be seen reflecting from within the weaving of the carpet.
Oh no.
It's like a child's birthday party took place here, but judging from the faded appearance, it's been like this for a while. As I glance to my left, I notice an entire wall has been knocked down, the structural framing inadequately hidden by flower-coated curtains. Beyond said curtains is a large chair, and a long red rug leading up to it. It takes me a moment to realize it's supposed to be some kind of throne, lit harshly by the bright white fluorescent lights. Despite the attempted fanciful presentation, cluttered floors hinder whatever intended effect the opulence of opulence they were trying to go for. I can see old VHS tapes, candy wrappers, CRT monitors, disposable cameras, children's toys, all scattered about. Past the throne is what I think was supposed to be the living room. But instead of chairs, there's just this mattress on the floor, which is covered in throw pillows and beach blankets. I even recognize one as having the logo of Southwest Adventures. Seeing that makes me realize how long ago it feels like all of us were at that theme park, carefree for the most part, almost like we're reliving the same week over and over again, and it's been physically longer.
Oh no.
And also we read that part 4 months ago or something. Flynn steps up to the knocked down wall, repeater clutched under one arm. Guessing they didn't get a permit for this demo.
Is that really what you're focusing on right now, Flynn, after all the details we just gave you about this place?
Yeah.
The most concerning thing to you is the removal of a wall?
Yeah, it's illegal. You can't just do that.
No.
What if it falls down on you and then you're thrown as rubble?
You're not upset about the JPEGs, the bad JPEGs, Flynn?
That's just cringe. That's just regular cringe.
I know, but
not as much as he's gonna cringe at this roof caving in.
At this fine.
Rocks fall, everyone dies. You ever heard that? No one cares about your JPEGs of vegetables.
Yeah, it'll crush those JPEGs of vegetables.
As if on cue, a gust of rolling wind hits the house, and I can practically feel it shudder. Unstable.
So you're right.
The Gila quickly refocuses, keeping his slitted gaze pointed down the hall for any sudden movement. Beyond that, the house is quiet for the most part, outside of occasional dripping noise coming from somewhere I can't see. Nuts. Completely nuts. Leo mutters, shaking his head at his surroundings.
Yeah, none of us come here. Never actually been inside before. Heather's dad never lets anyone in. Now I can see why.
Leo and the rest begin moving down the hall, while Jenna steps up beside me. She has a contemplative frown on her muzzle.
I assume Heather lived by herself, considering how it was decorated.
Yeah. It's kind of weird and familiar in a way. That's all I can say initially, until I begin to start placing why. This place reminds me of, like, old thrift stores and cheesy parties I went to as a kid. I can't imagine living here.
It's not as dirty as I thought it would be. That's kind of a... That's a backhanded compliment.
Wow, you're more put together than I expected. Thanks.
I mean, considering how this place looks, like, that's definitely an insult.
Jenna muses, though something catches her eye in the entranceway to the kitchen. Soon, I'm following her, approaching what looks like a laminated, colored pencil drawing posted on the wall with rainbow-colored text. King and Princess's Palace! 2 exclamation points. Jenna's frown deepens. On the picture, there's a large, bespectacled feline man sitting on a grand golden throne. It's quite an upgrade from the dingy orange recliner draped in cut-up fabrics they've got out front, that's for sure. Next to him, sitting cross-legged, is what looks like a drawing of Heather. She's in a stereotypical pink princess gown with a little tiara on her head. The two are holding hands. It's such a sentimental picture, it actually seems pretty sweet, that even Heather has someone who cares about her enough as this. However, Jenna's dour expression does not relent. She quickly turns, heading down the hall with the rest of the gang. Flynn and Leo continue to take point, the Gila keeping his rifle at the ready. Still, no sign of anyone, though. Part of me wonders how wise it is to be carrying a gun with all this mind-altering hysteria business going on. Flynn turning on any of us is pretty unfathomable, the lizard having already been all bark and no bite. Still, seeing one of my old friends brandishing a weapon, it's a weird feeling. I pop into one of the rooms along the main hall that still has the lights on. It looks like some kind of study, and it's much less cluttered than the rest of the house. There's a small, dark a small desk beside the door with a laptop and a stack of papers next to it, most of them with Reclamation Bureau letterhead. At a glance, the documents mention things like water tables, hydrology reports, and map revisions for floodplain boundaries. It all sounds like pretty heady stuff. It's odd that Heather's dad lives in such a shitty place despite having such a technical-sounding job. TJ wanders in beside me, staring blearily into the empty room. I reach over, placing a paw on the lynx's shoulder. He flinches a little, but doesn't draw back. "You feeling better, Tej?" I ask, keeping my voice soft for his sake. "Yeah?" TJ responds, rubbing his arms. His fur looks puffier than usual, most likely the result of him being so on edge. "I know we're looking for Carl, but I hope Heather's okay too." She's the one that got your ass beat at the party.
Yeah, but
it's all Heather's fault.
Maybe he doesn't remember that.
Because of a little traumatic brain injury.
That's why you say it's so innocent forever.
No. I withdraw my paw, giving him a sidelong look as I check behind the few pieces of furniture that are in here. "Oh? I didn't figure you two were that close. At least not anymore." Oh, because they dated.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So fucking weird.
You don't have to be close to someone to be worried about them.
Yeah, no, this house gives me, like, a lot of bad feelings. Like, I don't think this is good.
Like, what's the psychology of these characters? Like, what have they been up to?
Her and her dad. I don't know how I feel about this.
Because she already has something going on with the hum, and she seemed out of sorts when we met her before, and I'm just wondering, like, is she, like, having an episode in here? Like, is she, like, regressed on some level and, like, thinking as a child?
I think this is just how she lives.
As a princess?
Yeah, this is, like, screaming trauma to me. Like, if I walked into someone's house and they lived like that, I would have a lot of questions.
I'm not about to argue with TJ on this one, but the way he speaks makes it sound like he's reciting something that rather than speaking from the heart. I step back out into the main area. Down the hall, I hear the clatter of falling boxes, followed by a hushed swear from Flynn. "Watch your step."
Get off my ass. My adrenaline buzz is wearing off. You can relax. It doesn't look like anyone's here.
What? That doesn't mean you can fucking relax. It means that Carl is still out there with those crackhead fuck faces. I'm sure when he's dead, you'd relax plenty. Flynn. I can hear the lizard spit, cutting him off. "Fuck you, Leo." Jenna sighs loudly, interjecting.
Flynn, you know I didn't mean it that way.
The bickering continues, as I realize there's still a room at the back end of the hall with the lights off. I make my way over, stepping to the doorway and peering into the darkness as I fumble around for the light switch.
Uh-oh. I don't like it. Okay.
Could be anything. I find myself shielding my eyes from the glare of the unshaded light hanging from above. For a moment I thought I saw something move in the corner, though it must have just been the glare. The room reminds me of the foyer, a cluttered mess with exposed drywall, electrical wiring, and damp spots all over the ceiling. There's a window to my right, and I think I can see Duke's truck parked outside. Duke mentioned something about Heather taking it while we were locked up with Brian. At first I think it's some kind of storage room, but then I notice the pink couch in the corner with the blanket, pillow, and alarm clock. There are dirty clothes piled up beside it, and judging from all the bras and panties, this must be where Heather sleeps. There's even a little closet in the corner, with crayon children's drawings posted all over the door. I take a step in, though I stop when something catches my eye. In the right-hand corner of the room, where I thought I saw something move earlier, a little green light blinks in the shadows. As I approach, I notice something. A pastel pink baby monitor thing with a photograph taped above it. Aliens. The picture is what looks, I assume, is what's supposed to be there. The picture is what looks like a fennec fox on the outskirts of Echo, staring at, well, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
a shooting star?
Yeah, it looks like a shooting star.
The fox kind of looks like Keith. Weird. I flip over the photo and notice that there's some smudged writing on the back. Whatever it once said is utterly illegible now. I put it back and shift my focus to the monitor beneath it. It appears to be decades old, judging by the worn paint, but it's apparently still functional. For some reason I can't really explain, I pick it up and press the single circular button in the center. It crackles with a low hissing noise, and that's when I realize it's some kind of walkie-talkie.
Dude, such bad vibes about this. I feel real bad about this.
After a few seconds of holding the button, I speak into it. Hello?
No, why would you do that?
I nearly jump out of my skin at the groaning noise, mainly because it isn't coming from the device. It's coming from inside the room. My eyes dart around for the source, eventually finding one of the blankets piled up on the floor behind a table. It starts to move, and I quickly back up. Leo, get in here! Heavy footfalls can be heard sprinting down the hall outside, the wolf pushing his way in with wild eyes. What? What's going on? He looks ready to pounce, though is met only by me and a bedraggled-looking ram trying to untangle the comforter from his horns.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Carl!
There's a squeaking noise from the closet. I notice Carl's unfocused green eyes start to wander in that direction. I look over and see the folding doors are slightly ajar. Were they like that before? That's when I see it. An eye. It peers through the crack, wide and bloodshot. The door is rammed from the inside, knocking it to the side, and sending toys and other miscellaneous junk flying. A hanging light bulb flickers in the closet as a figure steps through. I quickly realize it's Heather. She has blood on her legs and a revolver in her grasp.
You! Get out! Go the hell away!
I quickly throw out my paws. Leo hesitates a moment, then does the same. Hey, girlie. We mean you no harm. We just need... Leo stops talking, and I'm not sure why. That is, until Heather shifts out of the way and I can see more clearly into the flickering closet. Hunched against the wall is what looks like an enormous doll. Upon further inspection, it's not a doll at all. It's a man, and there's a red smear on the wall behind him. I recognize him from the drawing, a portly fellow with circular glasses, each of the lenses shattered by bullet holes. There are just empty sockets where his eyes once were. Atop his head is a little plastic crown, embedded with costume jewelry.
Oh shit.
Micah walks in the room, quickly recoiling at the sight of Heather and the figure in the closet. Carl huddles back down against the floor, seemingly trying to make himself look small. At first, Micah starts to approach the closet, but quickly stops as Heather brings up the revolver, pointing at all of us. I've never actually looked down the barrel of a gun before, and the feeling is petrifying.
Heather, what the fuck are you doing? It's me, Micah. I don't care. You need to go.
She shifts the revolver over, aiming it unsteadily at Micah. We'll take a step back, my back now against the wall. Where the hell is Flynn?
Did you shoot your dad? Holy fuck, Heather.
Micah? Leo rumbles in warning.
That's her fucking dad in the closet. I will kill All of you!
A shot rings out, and Micah flinches. The weapon was aimed at him when it went off. He blinks, shocked, the bat's hands beginning to shake as he checks his torso. He whirls around, spotting a light spray of blood around the bullet hole in the wall. That's when the pain hits him, and he slowly begins to raise his wing. Clipped right through the center is a bloody hole, the edges of the impact site looking like frayed fabric. The bat slumps back, exuding a ragged gasp.
You fucking shot me?
Leo's eyes bulge, and he starts to move, but stops when that revolver swivels around towards him. Heather! I shout, trying to draw attention away from the others, though I quickly realize I have no clue what to say. We're just here looking for Carl, remember? Like we mentioned during the bonfire? My voice is shaky, cracking as I speak. The cat's chest rises and falls, like she's hyperventilating. It's been that way since she stepped out of the closet. She makes her way over towards the slumped form of Carl, still half covered in his blanket. Then she points the gun down at him.
I'm going to shoot him in his stupid, fat, ugly face unless you leave right now.
She's absolutely screaming, her demands spouted with such a pitch her voice constantly cracks. Tears begin to roll down her already wet cheeks, her eyes puffy. Beneath her, Carl covers his face with the blanket, visibly trembling from a mixture of fear and exhaustion. Okay, right on. I swallow. That's the plan? Right, guys? We're just gonna leave, nice and slow. I do my best to put on a calm face as I nod to Leo and Micah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Micah's outburst is directed towards me.
No, not after we came all this way. We're not leaving the rich boy.
He practically hisses his words. He's cupping a hand over his wound and trying to avoid stretching the skin of his wing, as that seems to just make the hole bigger. I don't like that idea at all.
It's tearing. Heather, you have no reason to keep being that... to be keeping that chunky bitch here. Just let us take his ass and leave. Leave?
Heather repeats.
I have nowhere else to go. Nowhere. Everything used to be bad, but not terrible like this. Keith barely talks to me anymore, and when he does, he says...
She breathes in shakily.
He says the meanest things. I covered my ears and I could still hear him. Keith is fucking gone. Unless he gave you some secret cell phone number I don't know about, you can't be speaking to him.
Micah neglects to mention what we discovered about Brian's habits and the potential fate of his fox friend. But it's probably for the best that isn't brought up.
This is all hum shit. Plain and simple. Duh, stupid. I know that. That doesn't explain anything, though. You just give it a silly name, but it's not silly. It's horrible, and I hate it.
Micah opens his mouth to snap back, but Heather shrieks, a blubbering of spit coming from her mouth, snot running down her nose. She begins to press her finger closer to the trigger. Carl, move! She doesn't fully finish pulling the trigger, leaving us all staring wide-eyed in suspense. She looks like she's dry heaving, trying to throw up an immensely sick feeling within her that will not leave.
I can barely hear anything anymore. The ringing is so loud. It just sounds like him. He won't stop.
Heather flails in the direction of the shadowy figure in the closet. Even though the man in the closet is very much dead, he's propped up in a way that makes it look like he's watching Heather pace around the room, his dark sockets following her while her back is turned. She seems afraid to look at him. The feline closes her eyes for a moment. I can tell Leo is weighing his chances of whether he can tackle her to the ground before she can get a shot off. Before he can move, they open again, and she speaks, her voice still shrill but quieter.
Everyone thinks I'm stupid, that I'll never do anything but rot away like everyone else. And it has nothing to do with what Duke or Brian or Jeremy or Clint or anyone thinks will fix things. This whole town is so shit. No arguments there.
Micah mumbles, wide-eyed.
And it's not your fault. They're wrong. I don't even really know you.
She points the pistol at me. It's like my heart crawls up into my throat, my whole body rigid with fear.
This town is evil, and I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna do something with my life for once and not be some plaything.
She growls at the ground as she says this.
It's what Keith told me all the time before he went away for a while.
Heather stands there, shaking in place as if trying to muster the courage to do something. She begins to strafe, getting closer to the closet and bending down to pick up something beside the corpse. It's a bloody folder, with a little booklet stapled to the front. I recognize the emblem on the cover, the Reclamation Bureau. Heather's paw covers the front, and I can still make out Daughter's Dam Basic Operation and Procedures Manual. Outside, there's some movement by Duke's truck. Trying not to draw attention to myself, I glance out the window and spot the familiar pattern of orange and black scales and TJ's tufty fur. There's a glint of something metallic, Flynn's repeater, which is currently sighted towards the hysterical cat. Heather is so close to us now. Flynn wouldn't risk trying to take the shot, right? The idea of Flynn shooting anyone is just unfathomable in its own right.
What are you even talking about? I'm gonna make it so there's no town.
As Heather turns away, she catches a glimpse of the blood on the folder, then looks back towards the closet. She screams, but she's not staring at the corpse. It's like she's looking above it, at something else at eye level.
Daddy!
She blubbers, before promptly stumbling out of the room at a full sprint, elbow-checking Micah so hard that he gets knocked on his ass. We stand there in silence as Heather's footsteps fade out of earshot. The sound of a car being started can be heard, and as I peer out the window, I can see her father's utility vehicle peeling out of the driveway.
Fuck me.
Micah whispers harshly, pushing himself up to his feet. The smell of blood and gun smoke lingers heavy in the air, and I realize my legs feel like gelatin. I nearly collapse back against the wall, trying to catch my breath. As desensitized as I've been feeling, the fear was still very real in that moment. Everyone alright? Leo's asking in my direction, though he gives a little look towards Micah. Yeah.
Peachy.
Micah promptly walks towards the closet door and slams it shut.
I don't want to look at that anymore.
There are no objections to that. Jenna walks over towards the blanket Carl is hiding under.
Oh, Carl.
Gingerly, she pulls it off him, exposing the rough-looking ram underneath. He flinches at first, but the next thing I know, Jenna's pulling him in for a tight hug. Carl's own massive arms envelop her, the two embracing long enough for Flynn and TJ to finally arrive. Carl! TJ gasps. Flynn, meanwhile, stops dead in his tracks in the doorway, looking a little shaky upon his feet. Jenna pulls back, wiping her eyes with the back of her forearm. In such a quick movement, I don't think anyone but me noticed. Carl himself can't stop shivering, as if the room is freezing. He's still visibly disoriented, mind racing as all these familiar faces appear in front of him. Carl, you big cloven idiot. Oh my fucking god. Flynn drops his rifle, stepping up and resting a large hand on his shoulder.
Dude.
He mumbles, a rasp of disbelief. I'm gonna go get him some water. Hey, Micah? Come with me and look for some food. Something that'll go down easy, yeah? The bat nods, not as interested in this tender reunion as the rest of the group. They head out towards the kitchen. He's hurt. Flynn points to the raw, inflamed-looking skin around his neck, as well as the various cuts and bruises that appear elsewhere on his body.
Looks pretty surface level, but we definitely should get him to a doctor in Peyton. We're free?
Carl asks, looking up at me. Looks like it. I respond casually, approaching him and giving him a big hug of my own. He's so warm, and his shaky breath against my neck actually feels pretty good. TJ joins in as well, sobbing into Carl's fur and muttering things I can't quite make out.
Hey, you too.
Carl eases his grip on me, peering up at the tall lizard leering over him. What?
You heard me.
Flynn frowns, but ultimately relents and crouches down, giving his friend a stiff hug.
Aww.
Carl, meanwhile, clings to him like his life depends on it, evoking a few irks and grunts from the scaly one. Despite the pained noises, I catch a glimpse of Flynn's face. He's smiling, and more broadly than I've ever seen in a long time.
Oh, so cute.
They're together, the boyfriends are back. Carl scoops up another spoonful of tapioca pudding.
I've never had tapioca.
It just sounds gross.
It does sound gross, and the grainy texture of it, I've never even tried.
The remnants of the other empty cups he'd gone through sitting on the counter next to him. I've only managed to get halfway through mine, and feeling pretty messed up to be eating a dead guy's food. In my free hand, I'm fidgeting with the pink walkie-talkie thing from Heather's room. I'm not entirely sure why I picked it up, and when Leo gives me a look, I shove it back into my pocket. Carl vomited after we got him into the kitchen, twice. So, I guess it's good that he's at least doing a little better. He'd cried for 15 minutes straight while our wounds were being tended to. TJ seems to have mainly snapped out of whatever funk he was in earlier, beyond an occasional strange look towards Flynn. His knowledge of sports medicine actually came in handy when patching everyone up, with what we could find on hand. Fortunately, Heather's dad was not short on painkillers.
Dude, like, nuh-uh. This whole thing was bad. I feel bad for Heather.
No, nothing's good. And she's just out there now.
I'd be a little bit. I'd be leaving if I were them, because she can come. She has a gun. And she can come back anytime she wants.
Well, she's also just in danger, just roaming, just the night with a gun. We have no idea what her plan is or what she's going to do. She thought she was going to end the town, like she's going to fucking like go into the fucking hive under Raccoon City and just blow up the entire the whole place. like that kind of like what the fuck is her plan?
I wonder if choosing Jenna would have made her, because the whole thing is like
you wondering whether or not she would have shot us?
Well, Micah's like, oh, like I know how to talk to Heather and Duke, right? Was it Heather and Duke?
Heather and Jeremy and Clint mainly.
Heather, Jeremy, and Clint. But there's others who aren't here, right?
Duke and Brian. Duke came and went fast. Well, he hasn't had a single line, I don't even think, that wasn't just from Leo's route.
No, I just meant that Jeremy and Clint aren't here. Yeah. So the only person that ends up being in this situation is Heather, and I think the best person who could have talked to Heather would have been Jenna. For the other two, maybe. I was like Micah for sure. But in this, like Jenna understands Heather in a weird way. And also, I think
like a depressing way.
Yeah, and then I think Jenna's evaluation of her situation, which I think is definitely abusive, is apparent because of the way she looked at that picture. And I feel like she would have talked to her better and maybe helped out with her situation.
Instead of just swearing her out and then she leaves on her own.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't say that for sure. But that's my prediction of how that would have gone.
I also just wonder if that choice changes the scene, just because it was so far removed from the actual scene happening that like everyone just kind of wandered around the house for a while. We even were wandering with Jenna for a while, but then we ended up going into a room alone and then calling everyone in, or calling Leo in, and then Jenna, TJ, and Flynn didn't come in and had to react to the gunshot noise. And I'm like, that doesn't seem related to the choice we made like 10 minutes ago in real time. That was like before we even walked in.
I'm just wondering if the only difference would be our ability to save Heather in the situation.
Yeah.
I definitely do think Jenna was being pissy with us outside next to the truck. She's like,
Like, I wonder if the scene magically rearranges itself to have Jenna in it, even though the lead up to it doesn't seem connected to the choice, or if it was just a matter of like our opinions of people that might build up in some way.
I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to say. I thought you meant that Clint and Jeremy would be there if you picked Jenna.
Oh no, I just mean like we've had quick little dialogue before that was like one of our choices with Jenna was we chose we kept each other sane was a choice that we made, and that didn't have like ramifications, I don't think, but it could have. But like the choices could affect the ending in some way, because we did have 2 endings in the last 2 routes.
That is true. But I do...
more endings if you count Chase randomly getting killed very abruptly at that one time. Wonder how many of those happened.
I don't know. That would be good to know. But no, I definitely don't think Micah handled that all very well, and I don't think anything about how he handled it was special and unique to him and his connection with Heather. He just was like, "What the fuck? You killed your dad?" And I feel like any person could have said that.
He was like, "I'm good. I could talk sense into these people. I know
them.
Give me.
But then he's immediately.
And then he's like, "You killed your dad. Oh my fucking god! You killed your dad. I got shot. You shot me. Fuck you."
I don't think he would have gotten shot if Jenna was talking personally, because like he's like obviously the girl has a gun and she obviously just killed her dad. She's obviously crazy. You don't be like, "Oh my god, you shot your dad." Oh, you don't freak out at a person who's got a gun with them. Like, it's a bad idea. See, I don't think he did a great job.
Micah was not a very rational actor in that scene. He was shot, admittedly.
I think he got shot because he was a bad boy. I think he did a bad job.
Like, similarly, he was like, "No, after all this, we're not leaving Richgate." I'm like, nobody was actually implying that we leave Carl.
No, we were going to come back.
We're just trying to leave the room.
Yeah, so he doesn't
figure
get
out
killed.
what to do next. Because obviously there's no universe where like we leave Carl, but then we just like walk away from the house and leave completely.
We just go back to college.
We're trying to figure out how to ambush Heather to get Carl out of here, and right now she's pointing a gun at him. So
if anything, Micah reacting
yelling
that way could have gotten Carl shot.
Yes,
that's actually a very bad decision.
That's exactly what I thought was literally going to happen.
I did too, to be honest. Don't give me any of that fentanyl shit.
But you got shot.
Is it actually fentanyl? And
EJ stares, dumbfounded.
There's not too many nerves there. It just hurts a bit when I stretch the skin. I'm more hurt by the gall she had to fucking shoot me, for Christ's sake.
Are you sure? Those cuts look pretty painful, and it'll be a long ride back to Peyton. TJ inspects the prescription bottle. Curiously enough, the pharmacy label has Brian's name on it.
Oh no! Oh no, that's bad. Yeah, so it is fentanyl then.
Yeah.
If it's in Brian's name. I've lost too many friends in Pueblo to the stuff. You went to Pueblo?
Jenna chimes in from across the hall, watching out the kitchen window.
Well, I wasn't exactly enrolled at the PU. I bummed around the outskirts. I'm surprised you never ran into any of us there. We most likely didn't frequent the same spots, unless you really like tattoo parlors and ska. Whoa! I like tattoo parlors and ska.
I mean, he clearly likes tattoo parlors.
I wasn't expecting the ska part, to be completely honest. As much as, like, ska's very cool. And
he's got a Stussy.
I do like... Stussy's not ska?
No, I'm just saying he's got a Stussy tattoo. On his left arm, or our left arm.
Oh, but it's backwards.
Yeah, because I think he's
flipped.
backwards.
That's a really funny detail. Hold on, I'm gonna look at his tattoos for a second.
You gotta really lean in there. He's got a compass rose. It's honestly really hard to see anything specific. But he looks like he has a compass rose on one of his arms.
He's got a dagger that's bleeding blood.
Of course.
Is that a dick right there?
Not on YouTube. Yeah, that might be a dick. Quick, cover it up. It doesn't work.
He might have a dick tattoo next to the compass rose. He definitely has a dagger dripping blood. I definitely see that.
He's an adult. He's got the fleur de lis and a whole ring.
I don't like the fleur de lis.
It's like a crown on his wrist.
The symbol above it, I've seen it before. I don't remember what it means. I think I've seen someone else who has the same tattoo. Yeah, he's got just a bunch of edgy shit. How about that? You don't really need to know.
What does his shirt say? Let's see. I'm searching my chat log with Toaster for the word shirt.
But what I was trying to say is,
I figure I would have asked him already what it says, but I don't know if I did.
I like ska, but I don't think ska is edgy, because most of the kids I know who like ska were in band and were very good nerdy kids. Ska people are very wholesome, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think bragging about you being like, I like tattoos and ska. I'm not afraid of anybody who likes ska. If you like ska out there, I'm not afraid of you. Like, we be friends, but I don't think you're scary, so don't try to brag about you liking ska. I'll do the rude boy with you, because you're a rude boy. But no.
Do you know what Micah's shirt says? He's our go-to expert at random intervals. I like the checkerboard.
The checkerboard?
Just like the that's like associated with like ska like get-ups.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's just maybe you
just have like a checkerboard glove or a checkerboard belt or checkerboard like Vans and stuff.
I'm not saying I'm a fan of the style. I feel like it's got a lot of fedoras in it. And I'm not always a fan of that.
Damn.
Or trilby hats, as they're actually called.
Yeah. Because a fedora is what Indiana Jones wears.
Yes, it's flat all the way around. A trilby is curved
got a lot more
on the
rim.
sides, and it's kind of pointed towards the front.
Yeah.
But anyways, Micah just thinks he's harder than he actually is.
I love ska.
See, exactly. I was proven right immediately. Cute little nerd. Shut up, Toby.
His name's Toby?
TJ. Tobias.
Have we ever known his name?
No.
Is his name Tobias?
Yeah, it's gotta be. Tobias Funke. No, Tobias Junke.
For me, Tobias is Animorphs. The guy gets trapped as a red-tailed hawk. And because of Animorphs, that was my favorite animal for like a while when I was a kid.
When I went to the local record store, I found a whole trove of those Animorphs, and I almost sent you like 20 pictures, because they're the one where the girl turns into the starfish, and we all know that one's a gem.
It's just, what a nightmare cover. It doesn't work at all.
I've never read a single one, but man, I've looked at those pictures for a long time.
Those are... Given
That's
their
body horror right there.
Oh, no. Given their age demographic of what people think of as Animorphs, they're way edgier than you'd ever expect. Like, there is so much death and horrible violence and gore. They're like fucked up books, and they end with this message of like, oh yeah, you don't like how that ended? Tough. That's war. It's like the actual like letter from K. Applegate about how things ended like in a really dour note and characters died permanently and so on.
Dude, that girl.
It's like, there's a very harsh message about how war isn't fun and there is no like victory at the end. Dude. And everything's fucked up and you lose just by fighting and so on.
That girl gets turned into a fucking starfish and gets immediately stabbed by a swordfish and dies, and it goes, that's war. Like, what's that girl gonna do? She's a starfish. She can't run away from war.
Oh, in her case, the rules in Animorphs that they get transformed into animals at will, and they can.
I know. What the fuck's she gonna do as a starfish?
I don't know. She had some kind of plan. You know what? You want to know the starfish story? You know what happens? She gets cut in half,
Is that actually what happens?
Yes, the two separate halves of the starfish grow. She morphs back into two Rachels. There's two Rachels now.
We don't need two Rachels.
So you were not wrong in that the starfish does get stabbed, but it's that the starfish gets cut in half, and then you get like a fucking like Star Trek transporter problem thing going on where there are now two Rachels. How the fuck do you deal with that now?
So her power doesn't lie in... So she's not powerful when she's her creature. She's powerful when she turns back because she's able to use the creature's ability to grow independently to create other versions of herself.
Well, so what happens is they can transform into any animal they've touched before.
Well, Kiki, come here. I'm going to touch you.
So it's not like her power is not turning into a starfish specifically. She just got that power. Like she got a starfish to turn into. It's like... It's a little bit like how Rogue can like steal people's powers temporarily when she touches them, and so except they can just permanently collect animals basically.
I'm gonna run into the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I'm gonna touch everything they let me touch.
The thing here is that like the authors just are mean like that, and they're just like, you know what's really fucked up about starfish is that if you cut them in half, like both sides can live and they'll just grow and they'll just like regenerate and stuff. Let's do that to a person, and that's the premise of that book. It's that they did it to one of the main characters, turns into a starfish, gets cut in half, and then becomes two people, and that's not an easy thing to fix. There's just a second person that is the same person.
Well, do you even kill one of them?
I don't know how that specific book ends, but like that's the kind of shit that series is up to. It's kind of fucked up.
We don't need to. Okay, well, I can make another Stephanie for a while, and I can send that one off to work while I play and have fun, and then I'd have to kill that one when it got to be too sentient.
But she can't know that's the plan.
No, she's planning to kill me the whole time. I'm just gonna.
She's evil, Stephanie.
I'm gonna have a jump on it because my dog will know which one's the better one. Hopefully, you better not fail me, dog. Because you know.
Which one do I shoot?
She's gonna be happy she has two people to pet her. She's not gonna even care.
Infinite patience for her bullshit.
Yeah, we trade. Wow. We do shifts because she's so annoying.
Anyway, apparently TJ's name is Tobias.
Yeah.
What a fucking nerd.
Sorry, all TJ. Right. No wonder why you end up this way.
It's TJ now. Okay, we have two characters that's really specifically want you to call them something else than what Micah remembers them as.
Jasmine
and Tobias.
/ Tobias. Or Toby is what he TJ.
Said. Why would you want... I wonder why that. I wonder why you'd be fixated on TJ. Well, they probably both fixated on changing their name when they left Echo. Because fuck Echo.
Because it's an identity change that you can get control over yourself, and if it feels liberating to have something you can control in your life.
And it's like this idea that they could probably like actually just metaphorically just leave that past them behind and just start a new, better life. And so people calling them the old name is probably a nightmare. I don't know. Maybe the stories will tell us. Alright, I gassed up my truck with a few of the gas cans lying out by the carport. A normal term people use. It's got a full tank, so we don't gotta risk stopping at the gas station by the Flint turnoff. We load up, gun it, and we should be in Peyton just before daybreak. Sounds like a good plan. Does it? I clutched my forehead, the voice from earlier ringing between my ears. After everything had settled down, I honestly hadn't expected to hear it again.
Any sign of Heather?
No. Last I saw, she was heading northbound on 65. She frowns in thought.
North?
Fucking beats me. There's not much going on to the north. There's no real exit back to the main interstate system. Just the old military area, lots of country roads that lead nowhere, and the dam. Oh. She's gonna blow up the dam.
Oh! With what?
I don't know. All I know is that her dad works with the Bureau of Reclamation and has all these papers about floodplains, and she just ran off with one of his folders.
You're right.
Her solution for Echo is to bury it. The whole town. Just get rid of the whole thing.
Okay, so I really didn't think she's going to have a lot of volition or power in this situation. I actually like Heather. I feel very bad for her, but I thought she was just gonna be a dumb bitch and run off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm gonna change the world, and go off with her gun and probably hurt herself or other people. I did not think she's gonna have the capability of blowing up a dam.
Yeah, we. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just like turn it off, or you open it.
Is that how that works? You just turn a dial and the whole thing's fucked. Like,
I mean, the dams can probably control the flow of water through them, so she can probably be just like, you know what? Fuck it. Just open it up.
It's like Enron and the electrical grids, where they're just like, turn off, turn on.
Because we know there's a lake and a river. And so what if you could just like put it in fuck you mode? Just goodbye, Lake Berryessa. You're gone now. Just dump it out. Like, is this a fake? Is this a fake lake? A fake setup that like they can just like dump it and then it's gone, or the opposite. Like, this place was supposed to be in the floodplain. Like, it's in the they have floodplain messages and whatnot.
I obviously don't know enough about how
according
dams
to
work.
Toaster, his shirt says "candy, please,"
but in like metal font.
Well, no, I think it's in Japanese or Chinese or something.
Oh, is it? I thought it was in English. I thought it was just so. Well, it's backwards when we see him, so I thought because it's flipped.
That's in English, isn't it?
Okay,
it's like it's all kind of written like the Stussy. I literally only asked Toaster because I thought it was in Japanese or something and didn't look that much closer at that point. I thought I just thought it was I thought it was just a different language entirely. So I'm like, hey Toaster, can you translate this?
I knew that was English, right? Because I know that's how like not metal, like I guess kind of like metal font, but like I don't know, graffiti or band font or just crazy fonts where they're all compressed together. I knew that was English, but what bugs me is that it says "candy, please." I do see it, but that is the correct way, which means the Stussy's fucking backwards, which makes me upset. Because that shirt is not mirrored in this image. That says "candy, please" from left to right. Why would they do that to the Stussy?
Just gotta tell him like, Lamau, I thought it was in Japanese is why I asked. It's so hard to see.
That's not like I was just, I never would have thought that was Japanese.
I mean, it's like the type of shirt someone just fucking would wear. I got this entire playthrough thinking his shirt was in Japanese. Obviously, I can't see it clearly, but like,
I don't see the candy as much, but the please, I definitely see it. And
candy, please.
It's going from left to right. The Stussy's fucking backwards. That fool got a fucking tattoo of a Stussy is facing the wrong fucking way. That's awful.
That's like the what is it? I think I'm pretty sure my Amicus shirt is like that. His hat says "smile" on it, and it's backwards. And it's printed on a shirt and everything. Like, it's just a common mistake is that like when you draw characters like this, you often flip the canvas over and over again, so it doesn't, so you can tell that it doesn't look, you can tell that it's not like fucked up looking.
Wait, so do you think they keep his shirt facing the same way, but they flip his body?
No, I'm saying like not in the visual novel. I'm saying that when you're drawing these kinds of characters, what you often do is you keep flipping the canvas because it'll help you spot what's fucked up about them.
Yeah.
But you might draw one thing in one flip and then the other thing in the other flip. So you might end up with like, say, an Amicus design that's meant to face this way, but you drew the text on his hat when it was facing the other way. At least I'm assuming Haps didn't mean to write Amicus's the smile on his hat backwards, but it's like, I think the merch is sold with it backwards. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's a stylistic choice. Let me check. I think it's like right here.
I don't like that his shirt says "candy, please," but he gets into strange Vans. It does say "smile" backwards.
So that says "Good Wolf."
Yes.
And that says "smile," and the smile's backwards, but the "Good Wolf" is not backwards.
Well, and so is Hap's signature and the Ad Astra. Everything is the correct way except for the hat. For viewers.
I would kind of figure that like the art was drawn separately and like the branding of like Ad Astra and whatnot could be added later or whatever. But yeah, like if you ever look at the shirt, the art of Amicus posing in front of a motorcycle that looks very like kind of Dragon Ball. That's the merch.
I think it is a Dragon Ball.
It's like the
reference.
merch shirt that they have for Ad Astra from Echo Project. Yeah, his hat.
Capsule cord.
The text on his hat is backwards, but the text on his sleeve is forwards. So plan out in advance which way your character's gonna face. You gotta be. I think I'd be paranoid at this point that if I was ever gonna deal with text, I would just wait as long as possible before I even try to add it.
Yeah,
because
just do it at the very,
you have to be
very
so
end.
sure that you're not gonna have to flip it and then have to fix that and so on. Womp womp. This is a call out post now. Anyway, we solved the mystery of oops. Oops. I don't really want to not skip fast forward. What? Is it skip? Oh, skip and fast forward do the opposite of what I thought they would do. You know? Anyway, so she's gonna apocalypse the town. That's quite the reveal. The dam. I like being ahead of the game.
Like,
oh fuck!
In your sentence, that is actual literal because you are ahead of the game. Most people just say that as like, oh, like I'm, when I play soccer or like I don't know, when I'm at work and I'm filing paperwork, I'm ahead of the game. But for Keith, he's literally ahead of the game.
Yeah. All eyes shift to me. She's heading towards the dam. Her dad works there. Worked there. No one has opened the closet since Micah shut it.
Good.
And Flynn grunts, dangling his repeater from his fingertips. She took that folder with her when she left. The one about the dam operating procedures. Really?
I didn't get a clear look at what she was holding.
Yeah, I'm telling the truth here.
I believe you.
Flynn squints his eyes some. Are you saying Heather is going to fuck with the dam? I mean, what else could she be doing? We all heard her speech, right? Yeah, she was screaming it. That bitch can barely operate a doorknob. You think she can figure out how to open a floodgate of that size?
That's gonna be my next question, where I was like, I don't think she could even read those documents if she wanted to.
Why did it say daughter on it?
That's what I was like wondering if it said daughter, but I couldn't figure out what other word would start with. It was A-U-G-H-T-E-R.
Yeah, it was like it was like otter.
But
oh wow, it's a metaphor for chase.
he didn't know how to spell it.
It's really goofy that it does phonetically say otter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a single word besides daughter that could be, and I don't know why it said like that sentence didn't make sense to me necessarily.
I couldn't remember the name of his company.
But she is the daughter of the thing. I don't know if the river is called the daughter, or I don't know.
I don't know. I try to remember, like, I remember they had, like, logos for the company he works for. I remember it having other words besides what you think it would have in it, but I don't remember it having anything that sounds like daughter. So.
Micah pulls out a beer from the fridge, sipping on it gingerly before speaking.
I'm pretty sure I remember her dad brought her up there to work a lot when we were growing up. She hated it.
He disappears back into the kitchen.
She probably made her own notes.
For someone who has experienced the things we have this evening, he seems oddly composed. It makes me wonder what kind of shit he's seen before all this. I think back to some of the preliminary research I did for my project. And by preliminary research, I mean looking at the county website's historical section for 30 minutes. You're not a good journalist, Chase.
Yeah, isn't that what you want to do?
You're very bad at the thing that you're trying to do.
Isn't that your passion?
For your project?
What?
Granted, in this timeline, Carl went missing, so in this timeline you're forgiven for basically forgetting about it. But in Carl's timeline, you pretty much just got high and played video games all week, and then ghosts happened.
Man, I wish I had the ability to not
constantly have
stress
1,000 things you're worried about all the time.
I can't even like relax and play video games when I don't have things to currently do. I'm like, well, I could be doing this instead. I wish I could just get high and play video games for a week.
I hate how much, as an adult, the act of playing video games really just, not even that, like, as an adult, the idea of leisure, like choosing to specifically not work and not let yourself do any other kinds of work, but specifically like relax or whatever and take times off, is like a thing you specifically schedule an amount of time for, essentially. And it's like not really fully relaxed either. Like it's like, aha, okay, I have 3 hours where I can just do whatever, and I'm gonna just make myself like mental health for a few minutes, and then something eats into that. There's always like a surprise that will eat into that window.
More so just stress
and
of like
it just fucks it up in its own ways.
Well, I only have 3 hours. How do I maximize my time?
You have to maximize your enjoyment.
There are so many things I want to do, but like which do I choose to do? Like I want to read, I want to watch a movie, I want to play video games. Should I do like 2 of those at the same time?
So that they both suck?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, fuck. Well, and then the 3 hours is gone in like 2 seconds. And then you're like, well, fuck, I didn't even enjoy that.
One of the things that jumped out to me was how big Lake Emma used to be. Over twice the size it is now.
I live in California. I relate to this.
All of our lakes are shrinking. Send help. Most of the lakes in this part of the state are man-made, but this one is natural, ancient, primordial, cosmic horror-y, maybe. The settlers just shrunk it down, siphoning away water for the iceberg lettuce and cotton fields in the east, past the mountains. Alright, let's load up, everyone. Leo changes the topic, him and Flynn heading to the door.
Wait.
Jenna steps over beside me, seemingly in deep thought before regarding everyone else.
So, we know what Heather's plan is, and you also intend to leave?
Yes. I thought we were loading up to stop Heather.
That's what I thought we were doing too.
We're loading up to book it.
We're assholes.
R.I.P. everyone else in the entire town who will all die.
What about, I'm trying to think who else is good that we like. Janice?
Yeah, Janice is probably around here somewhere. She died last round, but that specific scenario didn't necessarily happen.
Kudzu lives in this town.
Yes, canonically, Kudzu and
Raven. We can't let them die.
Probably 2 other characters we'll meet one day.
The Carnival Barker. The
Carnival Barker does not live in this town.
Oh,
the Carnival is not in Echo.
Oh, okay.
It's in Peyton, in Civilization, where things can have carnivals and not just needles.
I think of
Can you imagine this town having a fucking carnival with the whole like tone it has?
Well, it's a theme park.
Just like over there, there's just a carnival. It's just like wee.
Do you remember in
just like fucking clean cut like tabby cat Carnival Barker in a polo shirt existing in the same town as Tetanus Alley.
He can go home and shoot up. Like, you don't know what he does in his free time.
I think people would resent Carl less if there was also just a whole ass theme park here. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, the one piece of opulence in all of Echo. And this carnival over here.
Well, I think we'd get tourist money if we had like a theme park.
Yes, there's a lot would be different if they had a carnival.
I think of Peyton as like in Fairly Odd Parents, there's Dimsdale, and there's like the town next to it that I forget what it's called, but it's like the town that they all fucking hate because it's the nicer town.
Yeah. Or
in The Simpsons, there's the same thing where there's Springfield, and there's another one that's like right across the bridge.
Where all the rich people live.
And they have several episodes about those other towns and how much they resent them for being the slightly nicer version of their town.
It just always slips in there.
That's what Peyton sounds like to me.
It's like how even that shitty movie Bright slipped in Elf Town, which had nothing to do with the story and never came up again. But they're like, look where all the rich people are the whole time. That sure contrasts the rest of the movie, doesn't it? The end. We had no larger point to make. Leo responds promptly. No way she can manage what she's planning. We gotta get Carl and the rest of you lot to some medical attention.
You sure about that? She's got her dad's keys, the codes, the guidebook, and presumably she's got pretty keen knowledge of how all this shit works already. I mean, shit. I want to get out of here, but the poor fuckers who are still here better know how to swim.
I wonder if we're gonna split up. Like if they're gonna take Carl and TJ to out of town.
I mean, I think that's what they should. Oh, that's what I think they should do.
My worry is that
it's going to happen in the middle of it, and they get swept away by a giant tidal wave and die.
No, I mean, if they leave right now, they're definitely safer than we are. I mean that I don't know if it's safe to leave Echo.
Oh, because of the monster.
Yeah. So like, Whatever plot contrivance thing that we do instead of leaving Echo seems like the good idea for metatextual reasons, where I know that there's something bad that happens if you try to leave Echo, and I don't know what the exact endpoint is of that threat.
Yeah, remember we had to jump on a train to leave
we
Echo?
escaped with a ghost train last time, and the first time we didn't escape.
At all, yeah.
We just waited in Carl's
out.
nightmare house. We really... Carl's route was really the equivalent of like getting really high and waiting out the entire like apocalypse and like not even really even learning it was happening.
Well,
for the
the thing
most
is,
part.
we heard a bunch of shit about everyone else after the fact. We're like, oh yeah, and like this happened and this happened and like.
And the part where Duke like points at us like in They Live, and then we just never see him again.
Basically,
until he's dead.
We just got so high that we crawled into like the downstairs like crawl space. And started eating drywall. we got like so schwacked out of our mind that we just we went into the basement and just stayed down there and ate the dirt and acted like we were like living. We had this whole idea of what happened. Like that is fundamental. It's almost like
chewing on drywall and saying, "Wow, I love these jelly donuts."
Dude, I asked my mom I was like, Mom, I want jelly. I had her try to find them, and I feel bad because they were rice balls in the Pokemon show, and I asked her to find me jelly donuts that were like the ones that I saw in Pokemon, because I've never seen triangle donuts before.
Yeah.
And she actually tried to find them because she didn't fucking know what I was talking about.
I mean, you could just make triangle donuts.
I know, but she thought they were like a real thing you could buy. My mother was very sweet. She tried to find me the donuts that don't exist.
Finish your hamburgers, Apollo.
But yeah, no, basically, us and like Chase and Carl just go on a really bad acid trip the first playthrough. And that is fundamentally the extent of the entire playthrough.
Yep.
It's very standalone.
And then some violence between friends.
You know, as does when on acid.
You think Echo would flood?
If you make it flood, TJ.
Micah shrugs. Jenna presses her fingertips to her forehead, exhaling.
I truly hate to say it, but we should go after her.
What? No way. Absolutely the fuck not. There ain't no goddamn way you're making me drive the opposite direction of ending this whole nightmare of an evening. Jenna turns, giving him a look. Fuck you. It's a good cut. It's a good cut.
That's hilarious.